Okay, Commissioner Collins, would you pray for us, please, sir?
Sure. Heavenly Father, Lord, we just thank you for this day. We thank you Lord, for this past weekend and what it means to each and every one of us as Christians, Lord. Lord, just continue to be with our county as we conduct your business here, Lord, and be with all of our first responders and all of our county employees, Lord. We just pray all these things in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Man, stand with me for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll call this April 7th, 2026, Marshall County Fiscal Court meeting to order. First item, have a service presentation, and this lady is one of the most humble people I know, and this definitely warranted some recognition. And this plaque states, Marshall County Fiscal Court hereby recognizes Darlene Lynn for 23 years of community service as an area Red Cross coordinator. Her dedication and compassion to assist people during difficult times are highly appreciated. Would you like to say anything?
That was so not fair.
Okay, so I would ask you to come up so we could get a photo with you, please. Next, we have Kenny Pratt, Marshall County Coroner.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
First, let me say this. It's been an absolute pleasure to be the coroner of Marshall County over this last term. We've been very busy. When I ran for office, one of the things I ran on was being a quiet professional. With that being said, you don't see me put Facebook posts out doing shout-outs and things like that. When I go and help a family, it's for them, and it's for the deceased, and I respect that. So I don't try to make anything else of it other than going and providing services that we do and respect that family. Since being the coroner, we have worked 514 cases at the coroner's office. Of those cases, I was the lead investigator for 321 of those cases. Now, with that being said, we go out and help each other. We don't go out alone. There's not a lot of folks that are 100 pounds. We have large folks, and it takes several of us to move them. Sometimes it takes myself and all of the deputies to move them. So we work as a team. With this, as far as me being a quiet professional, there's a lot of duties that I do that people don't see or hear about, so we're going to talk about them. One of the first things I did was a mass fatality plan for the county. We have Calvert City plants. They're in Calvert City. We have airplanes that fly over, helicopters out of Fort Campbell. We have large buses and all that go over this county all the time. So I have 3 different sites set up for mass fatalities. If we have one in the county, everything is pre-planned and ready to go. If we have one of those, I work with Kirk Kurtner on doing that, and we're set up for the state. Also with that, we have 2 trailers. One that belongs to the Marshall County Coroner's Office, and the second one belongs to the Coroners Association of the state of Kentucky. They have put me as the point of contact for Western Kentucky for all mass fatalities. So anywhere in Western Kentucky, we will respond for that. And we have done so. We've went to Trick County for 2 helicopter crashes. When the Fort Campbell soldiers passed away, we went over there and helped out with that. I went to Livingston County, helped out with mass fatalities there too. Part of the coroner's job too is I'm the one that's responsible for interacting with the media. I do that on a day-in basis as needed. Yesterday I had to do one with WPSD. The budget I work with Erica in the fiscal court. They come down and give a budget. As the coroner, I'm the one that's responsible to make sure we stay within that budget. Where whatever items we need purchased, we purchase those items. I also have to send people to training because everybody has annual training requirements we have to do. And we have a facility now, so keeping the lights on and everything that goes with it, I maintain that budget. The training, like I just said, my deputies and myself, we have to go to annual training. We're continuing to be professionals. People want the most experienced people to show up in these events of a death, so we try to have the most experienced people as possible. I get subpoenaed all the time for court cases. I've got 8 different law firms tied up on one of my cases, so anybody gets subpoenaed, it's going to be me. One of the things I do is anybody below the age of 18, I do a child fatality review board. I work with the health department, I work with law enforcement professionals, I work with the school system, DCBS, the health department. We all come together and we try to figure out why this person passed away. And the most important thing is how can we prevent it? That's something that we do as a team, and we work together and we're trying to find better ways to save lives. Just a couple weeks ago, I was at the middle schools doing the Truth and Consequences. I was there with several other professionals, and when they come to see me, I tell them as far what it is you got middle school students, they have all these different scenarios, and when they come see me, I tell them how I as a coroner would handle that scenario and talk them through it. When I first took over the county attorney and the judges reached out to me, they asked me, they said, if we have young drivers that are speeding or drinking and driving or something along those natures, will you sit down and talk to them? And I do. Jason Darnold, the county attorney, sends them to me. It's part of their reprimand. They have to sit down with me, and it's me alone that does this. We sit down, we go over what happened, we talk about it. I explain to them how their actions have consequences, how it can affect other people in the county, it can affect their family, it can have a rippling effect. But one of the most important things I tell them is when it's all said and done, to learn from it. Don't let this define who you are as a person. Move on and do better things and live your life. One thing that some people don't know, as a coroner, I sign off on all cremations in the county. Anybody that is associated with Marshall County that has to be cremated, I have to sign off on that. You have to make sure that it's the right person, everything meets the standard, and it's important because once somebody's cremated, you can't get them back. So you got to make sure that everything's done properly before then. One thing that some don't think about, I go out and determine the cause and manner of death of people. And with that, statistics are formed. And it turns into grants. It helps out with the drugs. You know, the reason opioid funding and grants come about is because we tie those together with deaths. You know, it's not always, your drug deaths aren't always finding an individual with a needle in the arm. Some of it is, traffic deaths where they have a car wreck, but we do our toxicology, we do our autopsies, and we come back and we see that person was, had something in their system. I always say the blood doesn't lie, and it doesn't. When we get those back, we can use it, and it can be a variety of different things. So the coroner's office in the past has always been tied to funeral homes. Mitchell Lee was a coroner in Marshall County for 24 years. For a long time, he did a great job. I still work with Mitchell. He's always, anytime I need to call him, I can. But when they did that, the coroner's office, Mitchell Lee provided everything. He did everything out of the funeral home. We didn't have a office at that time. Everything was ran out of Collier's. And he incurred a lot of the costs. You think of printer paper, you think of computers, you think of all the office materials. He provided those. They also used their vehicles. The coroner's office didn't have those. Now, throughout the state, 120 counties, a lot of the coroner's offices are going to more independent, where people like me that are not a part of a funeral home, we're independent from those, we run it. Now we have an office here. We have our own equipment. We have our own vehicles. We have 2 vehicles that we use for transport. We do all those things. And it's important because it's a county office. So with that being said, there has not been a pay raise for this job in over 24 years. In almost any other job out there, there's been a pay raise. But in this particular facility, there's not been a pay raise for the coroner in 24 years. And that's coming from Erica with the treasurer. HB 138 the Coroner Association went out and they did a lot of research. They canvassed all 120 coroners in the counties. At one time, the coroner used to fall in with the judge, the sheriff, the jailer, and the clerk. And basically what they do is they look at the population, they use some other statistics, and they come up with how you're supposed to get paid. And there's different population, there's different groupings for each county because it's based on population. We're in group 5. With that, there was some major discrepancies where the pay is. So they tried to get, the Coroner Association tried to push HB 138. It didn't come out. So I've talked to Judge Spraggs and Monty and some others, and essentially just looking as far as this position goes, just asking for fair pay. It's voted on by the Fiscal Court. The good thing is by doing this, you guys get to vote and decide what you want to do. It's not somebody there's not somebody higher in the state saying this is what it's going to be. This is something you guys can determine. With this, I look at it like this: you're going to get the best person for the job. It's important. Experience does matter. You can sit there and anybody can run for the coroner, but if you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're doing. You got to have experience, because when that phone goes off, it can be anything. And when you show up, whether it's law enforcement, EMS, most importantly, the families, they expect you to step up and do your job and to know what to do. Do you need to call the fire marshal? Do you need to call the state police? Do I need to get detectives involved with the sheriff? Whoever it is, you got to have the most important, you got to know what you're doing, because the families expect that. One of the biggest fears I have on my cases is I never want to be the reason that a bad guy goes free. We've had a few homicide cases since I've been the coroner. We spend 12 hours on a scene looking for the minutest details, working with the detectives, working with KSP, because it's that important. And I tell the people that work with me, we get one chance to get these cases right, and 30 years from now they're going to judge us on it. And that is the case. Since I've been the coroner, I've had several cases where people reached out to me, cases 30 plus years old. When I wasn't even the coroner, I wasn't, had nothing to do with it, but I have to answer the questions. We're very meticulous on our documentation. We keep paper copies, we keep electronic copies, and we try to be as thorough as possible. We do toxicologies, we do autopsies. You can talk to Matt, the sheriff, you can talk to Jason. The things that I do is important because it makes their jobs easier. By doing those things, it makes detectives, law enforcement, they have the evidence they need. And then when it goes to Jason or the prosecutors, they have the evidence too, and it makes their job easier. So that's what I wanted to bring before the court, and I'll leave it at that. Thank you for your time.
Does anybody have any questions or comments for Kenny?
I'll just say, I think, I've told you this, I think, before. I think this is the way to address this. If this is an issue across the Commonwealth, to me, in lieu of whatever that House bill number was, I can't remember, and forcing counties to do something that some may be able to afford, and some may not. It was just to me, it was more about, this is an unfunded mandate that y'all are putting on us. You're telling us we must pay a position this, and then giving us no money to do it. So that was just so you know, it had nothing to do with the validity of the bill, and that there is discrepancies, because you've given us that information. We've gotten it from our associations. It's all over the board. And so I can see the reasoning behind that, but I just think the House bill was the wrong way to do it. So that's why I think we would prefer that you do it this way. It should be county by county, and we should all be able to study the information that you gave us and make an informed decision. I'll also say, because I don't think you mentioned this, the reason, just to clarify, that this isn't something that is just in the budget either, where we can just change it and have it in the new budget, is because state or the statute says that we must do it in the year before, or at least before, by the end of May, right? Or by May 1st.
Yeah.
Before May 1st, and then it will not be for your term, but it'll be for the next coroner's term, beginning then.
January 1st.
Yeah. So, it would be much easier to just have it in the budget and be able to do it within the budget, but that's not the way the statute is written. So, anyway, that's enough of me. I will say, that's not enough.
That's not enough for you.
But the salary that would have been in that House bill, because you've been there for one term, would be $60,000. What is it right now, 24?
34.
24.5. So it would have jumped from 24.5 to $60,000. So, that's a substantial increase. And some of these, again, smaller counties, like I'm looking at, again, Bath County, $7,500, they would have gone to $48,000 in a county of 17,000 or something like that. It would have been devastating, I think, for some of those folks, but not as much for us, but all right.
I think I had his salary at like 34, not 24. Is that right?
So, of course, we haven't set the 2027 salary.
Like right now, what is he?
Let me pull it. Sorry, I have an email from September, so let me pull
He
it.
says it's 24.5. I think that's right.
Yeah, it's 24.
What are you looking at?
In 2025, it was 23,985 and 84 cents, so 24.5 sounds about right for the last COLA
wanna
that
make
was
sure
for
my numbers are right.
2026.
Because I think it was November I pulled all the counties' numbers. Because I don't want to have the numbers wrong.
It should be in the handouts.
Well, if you look
I don't
at
have
this came from, well, it was in that,
Oh, okay, I got you, yeah.
but here, pass it down. Look at us on there. That was put together, that spreadsheet was put together by their association.
Gotcha.
So I don't think that's it. I don't know if that's in an email though, Eddie. That was in that packet that he just
I think he's talking
left.
about the one.
I was the
Eddie-
one that
he sent
I
out.
called every county
Oh.
and back in November and I got Callaway's, Graves, Marshalls, and McCracken's. And I'm showing 34,838 is what we got at Marshall. That's not right.
Who'd you call for Marshall? You might.
That may
Our
include,
budget, it
that
may-
may include the
That
deputies.
benefits or
It
something?
may include the deputies.
Oh, that,
It
no.
wouldn't be,
It wasn't, no, because they're
It wouldn't be no fringe on
$10,800
them,
a
no.
year. They're $900 a month, right?
yeah, that may have been, I wonder if you added everything, if that was with I'm sorry.
Benefit package,
FICA
maybe?
and all that stuff.
I don't know.
You have the budget pulled up.
So it's 24?
Sorry, I'm trying. I haven't done it.
24.5.
Our server.
It should be on that handout that Monty passed over.
Local ones. Got the price now, and then that new salary is what the bill, I think, would have put.
I mean, even with
Eddie, I think your number comes from the total cost of the
Total
court.
package, maybe.
So it has the retirement part and the FICA and then
Maybe insurance too?
HRA insurance waiver, yeah. Because those things added up equal the number you got.
McCracken's matches. Callaway doesn't match. Okay.
One thing that we asked for too, and I don't know if you put it in the packet that, or I don't think you emailed it or anything, was an office schedule too. Like just an example of what, because they're all on call at specific times, we were just interested in, okay, tell me about what that looks like, so.
Those get sent out every month. Erica gets one, 911 gets one. We send those out. And part of that reason is somebody has to be on call. If you don't know this, EMS cannot leave. If they get called to a scene and somebody has passed away, they cannot leave the scene until the coroner gets there or somebody from the coroner's office. So we try to be there. I have a policy. We try to be there on scene within 30 minutes. Now, depending on where it is in the county, it may be a little bit longer, but we try to uphold that standard because that EMS unit is taken out of service until we get there. They cannot go to another call. So that's why that's important. And people can sit there and say, well, I'm going to go to every call. That's false. I'll just tell you. Because you got training to go to across the state of Kentucky. If you want to go on vacation in 4 years, you're going to go out of town, so you got to have deputies cover you. If you want to go to Paducah and eat dinner or go to Murray and eat dinner, you're not going to be on a call in 30 minutes. And also with that being on call, you're not drinking. I mean, you're fit, ready for duty. Mm-hmm. So, there's some things with that. If you got birthdays, things of that nature, all that stuff has to be planned for.
Are all of these positions in all these counties, is some of them full-time, some part-time?
The coroner is a full-time job because we get called all the time. Whoever's on call, you do that so you make sure this person is set aside for that time period.
Yeah.
But I get called all the time, day and night. I get as many calls at nighttime as I do during the day.
Yeah, but I thought it was it's not considered a part-time job in the county.
No.
I don't think any elected position would fall into either full-time or part-time. You know what I'm saying? Because you're on call.
They're all as
Well, I
needed.
You know what I'm saying?
understand that, but I mean, yeah.
Are you just
there's
saying,
no-
there may be some counties
Well, I was saying,
that have,
like, some of these counties is way up there, is that,
Well, for example, in Louisville, you'll see that they're way up there, but she has 21 deputies.
Yeah.
I mean, so but their call volume is so high, so it's,
Yeah.
it's, if you look across the state, there's no continuity as far, each county's different on how they
Yeah.
do things.
Yeah. But I mean, that's like us. We can't live on our salary, so I would consider that a part-time versus you got to have another job too to live.
I don't know, I think that's a different discussion for a different,
Okay.
I don't know that it, to me, I don't think you can look at, okay, what size is your county, and then decide, is that a full-time or a part-time? I don't think that's, because, let's take, for instance, a county that is smaller than us. I mean, they may just have a coroner and one deputy. I would consider, that person may make $7,000.
Well,
but is he full-time? Yeah, probably, because
Yeah.
holy cow, you only have two of you. You know what I mean?
Hickman is actually that way, and they only make $5,000.
Yeah. So I was looking at Livingston. They just make $15,000. They got 8,800 people.
Yeah, I just don't think you can, again, it's, if you go through all whatever 4 pages of this and look at the coroner versus population, there's
No correlation.
there's truly no rhyme or reason, and you feel like it should correlate, and I think maybe that's what the bill drafters were trying to do. I just don't think it's I don't think it's possible because, I mean, I think the same thing with commissioners and magistrates. Ours is the other one, like yours, that is not set by the legislature. And I like it that way because I think it is county by county as to what those do. If you have, 33,000 people like we do, but you have a magisterial based.
Yeah.
And there's 7 magistrates. It's totally different than having 3 county commissioners that are truly working the entire county. So again, this gives you something at least to look at, but I don't think it's not fail-proof either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
As to okay, what county could we look at and try to figure out what this is?
You can't even look at all of them and get an average. There's such a variance.
I mean, they do an average, but
Population.
you can't take it as a.
One thing to look at too is if you look at Graves County, I feel like Marshall County has always kind of mirrored a lot of Graves County. You can see what they make there. I mean, that's similar population size. We're in Group 5 together. I have different ones there that separate the groups, Group 5, and then have all the surrounding counties.
Yeah, Graves is close. Callaway's close to us in population. I've shown Graves has got 6 deputy coroners as well. And Callaway's got 3.
Yeah, Graves is an outlier. I mean, that's unbelievable to me. It's truly
6 deputy coroners is a lot. And they make the same, they make 90, well, just under what ours make. Make 9,500 a year each.
Yeah, it's
Well,
kind
you
of.
also look too,
I mean,
one thing
you have
different is
Mayfield
some of the counties, they don't
Graves.
do transports. Some of them,
They
farm
set.
that out. McCracken County,
Yeah.
they don't even have a vehicle to transport
Right.
a deceased person. So they have an outside contractor that does all of it, even if it's in the county.
Yeah.
And then when they go to Louisville for an autopsy, they pay money for that. It's like $750 a pop.
Yeah, I would
So
say.
it's, we do all our transports ourselves. So that helps save the county money.
Yeah.
Got to.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. I mean, you look at, a lot of our surrounding uses that one particular transport company.
Yep.
Smith or whatever, I think. $750 a pop, that is not, to me, it would not be cost efficient for us to do anything like that, especially considering now that you can't, that it's only Louisville. That is just,
Yeah,
it's just insane, so.
Most of the calls he comes out on is not going to be a funeral home call. It's going to be, he has to take them to the morgue, and then an investigation is usually on his way. All natural deaths, we're not paying for those. The funeral home comes to those. But most of those, he don't, when he gives us his numbers, that's not counting, hospice and
We don't even go to hospice.
nursing homes, a lot of them.
Yeah, the hospice cases, everything, when you go into hospice,
Yeah.
you set up which funeral home and
Right.
stuff. So you're under a doctor's care. We
Right.
don't do those. Nursing homes, they're under a doctor's care. The only time we go to a nursing home is if there's mistreatment where,
Right.
there's
Neglect,
criminal
abuse,
intent
neglect, yeah.
involved, or if they get transported to the hospital and we.
And then they pass.
Kenny, is there any update on Madisonville?
I talked to Dr. Bill 2 weeks ago. He still doesn't have anybody lined up. They still have the building open. They have two ladies that work in there. The goal is they would love to have a medical examiner there, a pathologist, but the problem of it is they're so short, across the country. It's not just Kentucky, it's across the state. But the other thing you got to look at is there's nothing in Madisonville. You got these doctors with all this training. They want to stay in Frankfurt or Louisville, one of the bigger cities, more things to do, better pay. Madisonville, there's just not a big draw. And so that's something we run into, but as of 2 weeks ago, he still does not have anybody.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Does anybody have anything else? Any more questions for Kenny? Any action on this? Y'all want to think about it? We don't have to make a decision until the next meeting. No decision has to be made until
So we have one more meeting before.
May 1st. Statutorily has to be changed if changed by then. And I think Monty's already alluded to this, and it's only in an election year. So this is a one-time deal every 4 years.
Yeah, I'd say
And,
put
you
it
know,
on the agenda for the 21st meeting. That gives us a chance. I haven't talked to Kenny about it, so.
I won't be at the next meeting because I have a conference to go to. The coroner's conference is that week, so I won't be here.
Okay.
Well, next meeting, we should just, we should have.
It'd just be an
something-
action, yeah.
Be an action, figure something out.
But if you guys have any questions, you can call
Yeah.
me anytime.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you, Kenny.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Kenny.
Okay. Lena Blevins?
Hope you can top that conversation.
Well, I was actually just going to
Got a
say,
fishing tournament this coming weekend, right?
yeah.
All right.
Toyota Series. So, but no, just listening to that conversation as a constituent, thank you. It's really fascinating.
Don't know
Everything-
what the coroner
Yeah.
does. You know.
Everything that you guys have to kind of have a hand in. I appreciate your service and your time and doing everything for our community. So I hope you all had a wonderful Easter. I try to come, as you know, a couple times a year to just give you an update on tourism, kind of what to expect for 26. And then I'll probably be back in the summer once we get our budget finalized for fiscal year 27 to review that as well. Hopefully I'll have my 2025 economic impact numbers by then as well. So thank you. A couple of key highlights there, but nationally, travel demand is still pretty strong. The desire to travel is there. People are prioritizing travel, but people are also cutting corners everywhere that they can, whether it's through booking through points, staying close to home. I do expect with gas prices and things the way they are right now that it's very likely that we'll see a stay close to home type of summer. Potentially. So I do believe Marshall County has the ability to be competitive. Destinations that are really kind of winning right now are offering experimental, authentic, and wellness-oriented trips just because of how we're sort of situated on the lake. I think we have the potential to be competitive here as long as we continue to evolve and sort of play to our strengths of being one of the nation's finest fisheries and offering a safe and welcoming hub for outdoor recreation. And then our 2024 numbers, as I said, we did top just 90 million in economic impact. So I do believe that our tourism industry is one of the largest economic drivers in Marshall County, supporting local businesses. Next. Transient room tax. So I do believe our revenue, we estimate that it's going to be comparable, even probably slightly ahead of our last fiscal year. We're anticipating a strong spring just because of fishing and our tournament activity as it stands currently. The list of tournaments, we're getting back to the days of old, which is kind of nice. Short-term rentals, our short-term rentals make up about 20% of total transient tax revenue now. So we have continued to diversify our lodging ecosystem here in Marshall County, which can make my job a little challenging, trying to figure out how to successfully promote all the different types of lodging that we have. And, we still estimate that we're sitting around 160 active short-term rentals on any given day, but I certainly believe that there could be several more. So we have ongoing and continued efforts to try to identify and register these properties with us and with the Treasurer's Office. It has been asked by our Treasurer's Office, it has been asked by some of our property owners, and I've been working with the Treasurer's Office about the possibility of accepting online payments. So I reached out to some of my colleagues. Lake Cumberland has an online payment option where property owners do have access to submitting their transient tax online and remitting their forms. We have reached out to the same company, Hotwire Productions, who would basically build an online payment portal that we can have linked on our website, on the Treasurer's website, on the county's website for people to do that. This would be more of a convenience thing. It wouldn't necessarily save them money because we would apply a 3% processing fee for credit cards if they choose to pay online with a credit card. But for some, especially our short-term rentals, That 3% fee may be cheaper than a stamp. It may save them a trip to the post office, and they may, think that it's worth paying that. So, but talking with Erica, we really kind of felt like the fiscal court, you guys, rather be safe than sorry before moving forward with this. There is an investment. It would cost the tourism office about $3,500 to get this set up. The transient tax would continue to be deposited into the account that is set up at the treasurer's office, so no difference there, but it does create an electronic paper trail, if you will. We will get email notifications as soon as someone pays online. We will be able to send out notifications, so it adds a layer of record keeping there as well, and it can notify our office when a payment is made. It can notify the treasurer's office. So I think our board is enthusiastic about looking at this and making sure that this is something that we can justify the investment and the cost. But we certainly, we don't want to do anything that is not, we don't have the blessing of the fiscal court. So if you guys have any questions or if there's any objections, I would.
Is that for all? That's not just for short term?
It would be for everybody.
For
yeah.
everybody, okay.
So, certainly, obviously, that 3% fee is going to vary depending on how large your payment is, which is why I think our short-term rentals and some of our smaller properties would take advantage of this more so. I don't expect our state parks, the state treasurer is always going to write a check for those. Some of our larger properties, hotels, bigger resorts, they'll probably continue to send in a paper check. But I do think this provides a convenience for some of those smaller properties, short-term rentals, and hopefully it makes it a little bit easier for them to make the payments, and will continue to try to connect and sort of allow us to meet the needs of the short-term rentals in a way that gets them paying.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You think having that option would get a few that aren't?
Yes, I do think so. I think that is our hope.
So, Erica, I know when we were working on building inspection budget, we had a discussion, the fee was not covering the cost. What's that going to look like on this?
I have not spoken with the provider that she has contracted with. Do they intend to charge you? Do you know their fee structure as far as? So what we've run into with building inspection is there's a fee just to have the service, and then there's a fee on per credit card transaction, and then if we do not have the volume of credit card transactions per month, we get an additional fee.
Mm-hmm. So we're looking into that. We didn't want to get too far in. It was, to kind of just save time. But there's, in order for them to provide the IT support and to make sure the system is secure, there is a monthly fee that the tourism office would, pay to maintain. And then depending on the credit card processor that we work with, whether it's Square, PayPal, or one of the others, they have certain fees. But we did look, and that's essentially where the 3% credit card processing fee comes in. That is the max that you can apply in the state of Kentucky. So now, is there a volume amount? That I have not become aware of. As far as we know, that is not a thing. But there is the credit card processing that happens on our side that we would offset with the 3% that we would pass through to the customer. So I expect there to be a little bit of fees. But it's one of those things where how much is it going to bring in? We don't know. Is it worth the investment? It's a convenience thing, and so we're just. I know my colleagues at Lake Cumberland have really appreciated it, and it has worked well. And of course, nothing changes if people don't want to pay the 3% credit card processing fee. They can just continue to submit their paper return and mail in their check. So, but it is something that the board has talked about and that we're looking at. I can continue to kind of look. I don't know if I could get until we know how much we're going to bring in this way. I can't really tell you how much it's going to end up costing us in fees until we sort of go through the process.
If you can get any more details on that, I mean, I'm all about convenience, but there's a point where who's it going to ultimately cost? And if it's costing us a excessive amount, we need to take a serious look at that.
Okay. I will reach out to colleagues at Lake Cumberland, see if I can get any more
Okay.
data
Great.
from them, just as far as what it's charging them versus what they're making. And I can report back, certainly.
Okay,
So.
thank you.
Okay. We're still in the lawsuit with Airbnb. That hasn't moved. But of course, as long as we're doing that, they are not paying their transient tax. So we are collecting transient tax from the platforms VRBO and Evolve, and then a few individual properties who rent on Airbnb. But Airbnb is not collecting on behalf of their property owners. So Avalara, which collects for VRBO, it's a significant amount. I want to say it was over $40,000 is what we did potentially in short-term rentals. So you think if we had Airbnb doing the same thing, we're missing out on dollars, I can tell you that much. So we're hoping that lawsuit does indicate that we really do feel like we have a strong case and that it'll go our way, but we'll just kind of have to wait and see. So, and I did want to just give a quick shout out. This is Tim Lewis's property. It was actually destroyed in the tornado. Him and his wife chose to rebuild, and it was actually just featured in Log and Timber Home magazine. So it's a beautiful property, and they've done a great job with rebuilding. So, but yeah. All right, next.
Well, before we move on from short-term rentals, also, let me just say, the short-term rental piece of that bill has thus far killed the entire housing bill. It did not move forward because of the short-term rental piece of it.
We're a really passionate
I
industry
know.
about making sure everybody is treated fairly, and we really do feel like Airbnb is, they're just not being fair, and there's absolutely no reason when we've proven that other companies can do it. And so,
Yeah. And I don't think that particular short-term rental bill, though, was it an Airbnb bill? Was it brought by Airbnb?
Senate Bill 9? Are we talking
Yeah,
about?
the
Yeah.
STR that was in there?
It was a floor amendment that was made where they, because they haven't had any luck getting a bill that's strictly and strategically
For
just their
them.
language. So they were able to kind of sneak that in as a floor amendment to Senate Bill 9. The language essentially would limit or almost completely eliminate, in some cases, local control of short-term rentals. They want Airbnb really is trying to get all short-term rental regulations happening at the state level, so that it's easier for them to not have to pay, essentially. And so we are fighting that tooth and nail. The county, obviously, we don't have zoning, so we have our ordinance that very clearly outlines how short-term rentals, they have to register, they have to pay their transit tax. It ultimately falls on the property owner, whether the platform is doing it or not. So we've done our part and we'll be okay. The cities, it could affect them, just because they do have planning and zoning, but so far we're doing okay on that front. But yeah. All right, fishing update. So fishing tournaments, it probably remains our largest tourism driver to Kentucky Lake. We've got 45 tournaments on the Department of Fish and Wildlife website alone. Again, it kind of feels like the days of old. We do not sponsor all of those, but some of the ones that we do sponsor, the Toyota Series, which I said is happening this week. USA Bass and Championship happens late April, early May. This will be about 800 to 900 anglers over a 10-day period. So a lot of traffic during that 10-day stretch. The Icon Tailgate Tour, which is a grassroots happening in May. The KHSAA State Championship for bass fishing. We now host it on even years. Lake Cumberland will host odd years. The Jetta Marina Series, they're actually having both of their qualifiers this month in April, and I believe the championships in October. And then we have a few more BFLs scheduled to happen. And then we have already allocated dollars in next fiscal year's budget for some other significant tournaments that we'll be really excited to announce when the time comes. So of course the reason we sponsor tournaments is because it's multi-day hotel stays, restaurant retail spending, and it brings anglers from the southeast and beyond. And then also I wanted to just sort of reiterate, we're in the need for fishing guides. So on our website we do have a list of guides that we utilize, but I know the guides that I work with and that I recommend, they are booked. Like they they cannot take on anymore. So that's just locally, we kind of are, if there's a way that we can get in touch with licensed guides and to kind of grow that amenity. People know Kentucky Lake is back and it's coming back, and it's we're a big body of water. We're intimidating to fish, especially if you haven't been here in a while. And we fish differently. So we certainly recommend coming with a guide. And so I need guides. So if you hear of anyone or know of anyone, please send them my information so we can connect and get them listed on our website. And then the other interesting, I just thought it was kind of exciting, the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife announced a scientific breakthrough, I think last week or the week before, with the thoroughbred bass program. So over 50, and they have actually been able to identify the genetic marker that makes bigger bass. So for the long run and the longevity of our fishery, this is really exciting. They're going to be able to sort of scientifically grow the size of bass in Kentucky Lake and Kentucky waters. And it's, I don't know, it's exciting. That's really exciting for this particular industry. Obviously, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take several years, but
We're not going to give it out to any other state.
I don't know.
Only the bass.
I have
Kentucky.
no idea, but I think that's really cool that Kentucky was the state that was able to do this, and that it's starting here. And obviously Kentucky Lake is going to continue to thrive, I think, and I hope, because of this. And so I just wanted to say kudos and congratulations to the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife for that breakthrough. Next. Quick, sponsorship and partnership review. I just always try to take a minute if I can to kind of explain and help people understand why we sponsor the events that we do. Because our budget is a transient tax, it's all dependent on overnight stays. We always look at two things with our sponsorships, and that's, is it generating overnight activity, and what is the earned media value? So a lot of times that is why it's fishing tournaments, is because we know that those anglers are going to come in for a couple of days prior to the tournament. They're going to fish the tournament. It's better. It's a better generated overnight activity, of course. But then, and other things like the Bass Pro Tour, for example, that wasn't a massive amount of boats, obviously, last summer, but I could not have paid for the amount of impressions, advertising, media, airtime that we got from hosting an event like that. So we always kind of take that into factor as well. The problem is that we're running out of money now really fast. With the return of the fishery, the money is going quickly. We only have so many dollars. And I just had a call the other day with Ironman and about trying to look at bringing Ironman 70.3 here to Kentucky Lake, which would be 1,500 to 3,000 athletes. It would be a great event to do something like this. I believe we have a beautiful route and venue, but obviously it's expensive to do things like that. And so we're trying to kind of figure out ways, whether it's working through regional partnerships to sort of share the wealth to try to attract new and exciting things. So next. The Kentucky Sports Alliance, this year I'm the incoming chairperson for the Kentucky Sports Alliance. So I not only will be working to expand sports tourism and recruiting events here in Marshall County, but also across the entire state of Kentucky. We support facility development, create partnerships between communities, and then I was also tasked with figuring out how to fund the membership organization and make it more self-sustaining. But this will be exciting because we're a smaller member. We're not Louisville. So it's going to give our county opportunity where we can serve as the model for outdoor recreation and sports. And that's actually how that triathlon call happened, was another member in Lexington. They couldn't meet the water need, but we could. And so instead of just saying, sorry, can't do, he passed it out to the Kentucky Sports Alliance members, and I picked it up and I said, I'd be happy to have a call. So we'll see what happens with that. Next. Just wanted to again say thank you to all those who were involved with Marshall Yards. and the opening of that facility. Obviously, it's an exciting new amenity for our 21 and over age group in that market. So I know Elizabeth had TVA run an economic impact analysis on that, and we do expect it to increase some overnight visitation and tourism, which we knew, but it was kind of nice to see those numbers as well. So we're excited. The CVB will actively promote this new asset as part of Marshall County, the Marshall County Visitor Experience, like I said, to that 21 and over crowd. So, but I am just also most excited to see how this facility is going to be a catalyst for growth in that entire corridor. I think we'll start to see development there, and that's exciting. So really looking forward to seeing what happens. Next. This is something that we, the board, chose to invest in at our last board meeting. So we are going to be implementing an online integrated calendar. So it'll kind of be able to serve as a community calendar of sorts, but it'll also help visitors plan their trips. But essentially what this does is it scrapes data off the internet. It scrapes, if you put so as long as our community members are putting their events on Facebook, putting them on their websites, this online calendar, it'll kind of pull that information in, it'll create a listing, and then our hope is that we would be able to be kind of the one-stop shop to really kind of knowing what events are going on, so you don't have to scour Facebook and kind of ask what's happening, and it should be a little bit easier. So we're excited.
I assume you have the ultimate control of that? Like
Yeah.
as to if something goes on there that you don't want on there?
There's a dashboard.
Okay.
We can always go behind the
Checking.
scenes if there's something that needs to be edited or changed,
Okay.
or, but that's something that people are always asking what's going on.
I
They
just
want
had somebody
their event-
yesterday mention it
Yeah.
to me.
So we are hoping this meets the need for the community, but also for our visitors as well. Next. Just some current marketing campaigns. Like I said, we're expecting a stay close to home kind of summer, but we are focusing on outdoor recreation, family friendly. This is our new print, our new tear sheet map. We've rebranded. We're fixing to send those to print, and we are going to just be focusing on regional drive markets. I think that tank of gas, so 300 to 400 miles, 3 to 4 hours, that sort of thing. So I did include our 2 commercials that we're kind of running. So Palo, if you can.
There we go.
Grab your crew and head to Kentucky Lake, where the good times never run dry.
So we're running YouTube preview right now, and I think this one has a little over 40,000 views. So we've only been running the campaign for about 2 months, so it's performing really well. Next one. This is a Family Day edit. People ask all the time, where is that? It's hematite.
From sunrise on the water to fireside nights, make family memories that last at Kentucky Lake. Plan your trip at visitKYLake.com.
So those are just some examples of some of the ads that we're running, and some of the stories that we're telling. So that was from a photo shoot we did actually last August. So
Were you in charge of casting?
Yeah.
can you tell I like
She's serving now at Down Brew House on the side too.
Yeah.
I noticed.
I end up having to step step in a lot because people are not always super eager to get on camera, and so sometimes it's pulling teeth. It feels like to get models, but
Bonnie would have done it.
Monty's upset he
oh,
wasn't
okay,
in it.
Bonnie,
Yeah.
I'll call you next time. So all
I
right.
knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
He should have been the
Next,
golfer.
Slide. We are in the process of hiring, hopefully, another full-time position, marketing director. So we have a couple of interviews scheduled to happen next week. The purpose of this new position would to be to increase our in-house marketing capacity, create real-time content and storytelling, strengthen social media and digital advertising, and support expanded tourism initiatives. We're wrapping up our contract with Pineapple PR. We tried to outsource the marketing, which was good. It helped with consistency of posting, but they're not here. They don't understand our area like we do. So we're hoping to get somebody and fill the position by May to really kind of enhance our marketing, help with that storytelling piece. It's going to be a very social media heavy position, but then it'll allow me to kind of offload some of that responsibility and work on some other future planning and sort of vision planning things that I think that we kind of need to be looking at. So next. I just wanted to take a second to prepare everybody for Memorial Day weekend this year. Try to get it top of mind as early as possible. Because we have kind of a unique Memorial Day weekend in the fact that it's Marshall County High School's graduation, so that's going to limit workforce in some capacities, but then you're also going to have increased family and friends for high school graduation. Obviously, it's the kickoff to summer, beginning of lake season, and if it's a good weather weekend, I think people will wait till the last possible minute. They're going to wait for that weekend forecast before they decide to come, and if it's going to be pretty, we're not only going to see weekenders, we're going to see day trippers because, again, people are going to stay close to home this summer. And then on top of that, the Missouri Valley Conference baseball tournament is happening at Murray State that weekend, and we were pulled into early conversations with that event because the teams have booked out every room in Murray. So there is absolutely nowhere to stay in Murray for anyone who's wanting to come watch the tournament. So I do anticipate, because as soon as people start Googling what's close to Murray and where can we stay, they're going to be like, ooh, there's a lake. Well, let's just make a weekend out of it. So I think that we're going to see a potentially very, very busy Memorial Day weekend this year. So just kind of prepare our local restaurants and just our local community to be patient, to be kind. There's probably going to be longer wait times and, things like that. So next slide. We kind of already touched on legislative, but again, it remains a priority of us locally, but also as a state. So we continue to kind of monitor any bills that would be negatively impactful to the tourism industry, and then also supporting initiatives, whether it's the expansion of the bourbon industry, the film incentive. I think Elizabeth and I are actually going to schedule a site visit with the new Kentucky Film Office to try to bring them down to kind of showcase our area and see if there's opportunity for us to expand into that market, which is exciting. And of course, any type of outdoor recreation development, sort of, lobbying for additional funding within Land Between the Lakes. Of course, that's all happens at the federal level, but just making sure that Land Between the Lakes is getting its fair share and getting the attention it deserves, because it's also a gigantic tourism attraction, one of our biggest. And so we want to make sure that it is also growing and evolving and getting focused like other national parks as well. So. And then, I think that's about next slide. Looking ahead, we're just going to continue to strengthen our transient tax compliance, expanding sports and fishing tourism, of course, supporting growth and any major developments, growing year-round visitation, enhancing our tool, and then building regional partnerships and relationships. So the goal remains simple. We just are continuously trying to increase overnight visitation into Marshall County so that we can enhance our quality of life and showcase our quality of life here to other folks and get them to spend their money here and then go home. That's what we love
Or
about the tourism
if they want to
industry.
move,
We're
they're
okay with them
welcome
moving.
to.
Is that okay too?
Yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
So,
Any-
and you said again, $90 million
in
annual impact?
2024. So they usually release our economic impact numbers in the summer, so I expect to get those June for 25. I think it's going to be very close, maybe slightly above, maybe slightly below. because we didn't have a great year last year mostly because of weather. We didn't get a sunny weekend, I swear, till halfway through July. And that impacted us, but.
Then the drought kicked in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, as always, if there's anything that my office can do to help or service, please let me know. I will get more numbers on the online payment portal, and I will keep you guys posted on the community calendar, online calendar, when that's ready to go live.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If y'all want to read that story from the Fiscal game about bass research, it's on our website for you right now.
Okay, thank you.
It's not any, where they've done anything wrong, it's just they've identified which fish grow large.
Awesome.
I move for a short recess.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. Andy, personnel changes?
We do have some personnel changes from March. Kim Henson, wage increase to $23 an hour effective 3/1/26. Robert Lucy, seasonal road department at $15 an hour effective 3/2/26. Brianna McPherson, assistant park director effective 3/17/26 at $18 an hour. Craig Grimm, term 3/5/26. Brian Durrell, deputy jailer effective 3/30/26 at $17.50 an hour. Tara Martin, dispatcher effective 3/27/26 at $25 an hour. Mackenzie Edwards, term 3/25/26. Dustin Travis, term 3/25/26. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Need a motion to approve the March 17th meeting minutes.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Ordinance 2026-02, budget amendment, second reading.
Since this is a second reading, I'm going to read it with just totals. Ordinance 2026-02, an ordinance related to the annual budget and amendment thereof, whereas the County of Marshall has received additional funds. Now be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of Marshall County that Section 1, the annual budget for fiscal year 2025-2026 is amended to increase total revenue accounts $1,701,407.26, and B, increase total expenditure accounts by the same amount. Section 2, the amounts added to the revenue and expenditure accounts in Section 1 are for governmental purposes, approved by the Marshall County Fiscal Court the 3rd day of March 2026, approved as to form and classification on the 23rd day of March 2026 by Robert O. Brown, State Local Finance Officer. This amendment to the budget ordinance was adopted by the Marshall County Fiscal Court, Kentucky on the 7th day of April 2026.
Do you have a motion to approve and adopt?
So move.
Motions are second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, speed limit on Toy York Road. Sheriff, I know you and Roy, I believe, went out and took a look at that.
I did. I drove that. It's currently set at 35, and to be honest, that seemed appropriate to me. I see a need to change it.
And I would agree with that.
Okay. So, no action on that. New business, Mr. Pagel has a proclamation, it's National Telecommunicators Week.
Yes, starting Sunday is National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. It goes on for the entire week, next week. Whereas emergencies that require police, fire, or emergency medical services can occur at any time, and whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who contact the Dispatch Emergency Communication Center. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services, and whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our police officers, firefighters, and paramedics by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, ensuring their safety, and whereas public safety telecommunicators have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients, and whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job in the past year, there be resolved that Marshall County declares the week of April 12th through the 18th, 2026, to be National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in Marshall County in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our county and citizens safe. signed the 7th day of April 2026.
Thank you. Just want to add, we're fully staffed at dispatch for the first time in forever. We kind of changed up the hiring process a little bit and moved toward hiring experienced, certified dispatchers, and that's working out really well. We've actually had 2 move from other counties. So, after the first one moved, that told me a lot that they brought someone else in. So they're working in an environment they're happy with, and they like the job, and it shows on the radio. So they are doing a great job up there. Stacy's doing a great job running it. So I just wanted to add that. Sheriff's vehicle. Sheriff, I believe you got a...
I do. Well, we put that out for bid. We only received one bid, and that's from Benton Ford. That was for the 2026 Police Interceptor. It's an Explorer model. The cost of the vehicle itself, they bid at $45,614. They're looking at buying that from a lot down in Tennessee, and in that particular lot, they actually do all the upfit there themselves, and they can turn that car around, I believe, in 3 days and have it totally upfitted, ready to hit the road. Well, with the exception of decals put on the side. But it would have everything in it except for our radio. They do the push bars, the cages, the lights, the sirens, all the wiring there, which is an additional, if we go that route, $24,456. So a total cost of $70,070, and that would have one ready to go to the road. We have a radio available we can stick in it without buying an additional radio at this point, and we could have that on the road very quickly. So
that's going through Benton Ford?
Benton Ford, but
Yeah,
yes.
Tennessee.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, they secure it from a lot in Tennessee, which actually sells quite a few police cars and upfits a lot of those. as
Okay,
well.
cool. Do I have a motion to accept the bid and write the check so he could get the vehicle prior to our next fiscal court meeting, and that'd have to be approved in the bills then?
So moved.
Motions or second? Second, any discussion?
I'd like to discuss the upfit a little bit. That seems a lot, like 24,000, is that what they are, kind of?
It is a little bit more than what it cost us here. I think it's about, when I looked at the numbers, about 5,000 more, but we're also not
The
waiting.
time frame.
We're not waiting 3 months to get it upfit and on the road, is the big difference. Now, this also had it's got some boxes in the back, storage boxes, and it
That's
also
a few
has.
$1,000s.
Right, it has that's not in our normal upfit, and it also had a new gun lock system that secures it in the ceiling in the rear, but the nice thing about it is it closes, so you don't see the weapon, it's not visible from the outside. And
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, and it has a double lock in it, so that's a little bit different than what we normally upfit. To me, the big difference though is that turnaround time.
Yeah. That's all I had.
Okay, any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, road department.
I just wonder if you think Mike Miller and Gordon Hargrove, Jerry English ever thought they'd be paying $70,000 for a vehicle outfit.
Not a dump truck, much less a
Yeah.
vehicle.
Yeah, maybe a dump truck back then, maybe. Not even, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's,
All right, anyway.
I know.
Sorry, Tater Day makes me think of history. I
Yeah.
apologize.
Yeah. Roy, what you got?
Well, do you have the bid?
I do. What do you get for it?
Yeah.
You pass that over to him, please.
So we received one bid from David Taylor on Dodge. It's, the fleet sale price is $48,265 for a 3/4 ton. I'd recommend we accept that bid.
Word for word.
All of it.
Yeah.
We received one bid from David Taylor for a new Dodge 3/4 ton. Price $48,265.
What did that replace again? What was the vehicle used for?
It was a single cab Ford, 4-wheel drive
Okay.
that we were replacing it.
Plowing snow with it? or
Yes.
what? Okay, gotcha. All right.
Move we approve.
Need a motion to accept the bid and write the check once again.
Okay. I move we approve and write the check.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Erica, treasurer's report?
The treasurer's report is on your drive. It is for February. It does not go to the state. It is just for you. And I'll have the March for you at the next meeting, and it is the one that it's our third quarter report. It goes to the state.
Need a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
So move.
Motions or second?
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Transfers?
I'll start with appropriation transfers. There are several appropriation transfers that are on there for the budget amendment that we just did. When we did that budget amendment, we had to amend into some generic lines. That's how DLG makes us do it, and then we can transfer it out. And then we have a few departmental transfers.
Move we approve the appropriation transfers.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The bank transfers, we have 3 on there that are also based on the budget amendment that we just passed. And then there are 2 to move U.S. Marshal reimbursements to the Sheriff's Fund.
Move we approve the bank transfers.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to pay the bills?
Pay the bills.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to go into executive session to discuss litigation and personnel per KRS 61-810, 1C and F.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order.
All right. I'd like to move that we post notice of a proposed discontinuance of a portion of Holmes Lane.
Second.
Motion, second.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.